Mic check. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. I know it's been a minute. Maybe. But let's get into the real meat of why I'm here. We are here, like I told you guys, I'm going to do some film critique. Respectful and respectable, of course. Not going to sit up here and just bash stuff just because. So the video may be a little lengthy, may not be, depending on how I cut it. But we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about Tron. That's right, Tron Ares. Just been released 2025, starring Jared Leto, Greta Lee. On a scale of 1 to 10, right off the jump, 6 out of 10. Yeah, 6 out of 10. Now, you might be asking, why, Adam? Why did you do it 6 out of 10? Why not 8 out of 10? Why not 9 out of 10? Or 10? Happy you asked. Here it is. Let's jump into it. I was a very big fan of the original Tron as well as Tron Legacy. Tron Legacy for me was a very good stepping off point and continuation from what Tron, the original film, left off. And I think that that was a great way to progress the story. However, I don't feel that Tron Ares gave the progression justice, if that makes sense. It's one thing to continue a story and continue a story with characters. Then it's another to just completely revamp the story, but yet say we're continuing the story, if that makes sense. Jared Leto is an amazing actor. I will never shut that down. I think he's an amazing actor. He was a great Joker. He was not my favorite Joker, but he was a great Joker, and he gave his performance, and I really do appreciate him. It was good. It was good. But I think that his character as Ares was not very promising. Say, make him the focal point of this movie. I do appreciate his acting, and I do appreciate his skill set coming to the forefront, and especially coming towards this movie. But I don't feel like his character was done justice enough to become a focal point for this movie. I know the other main character was Greta Lee's Eva Kim. I don't know if she was the right character to bring into the story. I personally could see the movie without her, because, like I say, it's one thing to continue a story, but then it's another thing to add characters for the sake of continuing the story. But then the characters don't truly glean or lean on the characters of previous film. I do love the aesthetics of Tron Ares. I do love the lights and the action. Well done, truly. Like, the special effects, visual effects were spot on. But I do not believe that this film gave the Tron Legacy justice. We had a scene in there, for those who have seen it. Those who haven't seen it, I'm sorry, I'm going to spoil it for a slight second. But there is a scene with Jeff Bridges in there, and I don't feel like that scene gave his character justice. I feel like that's the problem with this film, is that it didn't give the mythology, the nostalgia, just the love of Tron. I don't feel it gave justice for the fans. I may be wrong. This is just my opinion. Not trying to sway you from watching it, not trying to sway you from loving it, but I just don't feel like it gave what we needed it to be, especially as a sequel. I have my thoughts about sequels, and I do hope to express that one day in a later video. But Nine Inch Nails score, perfect. No, they weren't Daft Punk like in Tron Legacy. I have to say, Daft Punk murdered, in a great way, they murdered the score for Tron Legacy. They just did. I just love it. But Nine Inch Nails, an amazing job with the score on this film. If I could score the score of this film, I would definitely give it a 10 out of 10. And which I think helped carry the weight, because originally, without the score, I would have gave this film like maybe a 4 out of 10 or 5 out of 10. But with the score, it definitely gave it a boost to a 6 out of 10. I just don't think that this film was well executed towards the continuation of the story. With time, and I know the nuances, and I know the behind the scenes information, the stuff that they had to go through to make this story, and I know that can play a part in creating a story and executing a story. You know, the writer's strike, you know, so many different things, politics. It's a lot, and I get that, and I understand sometimes as director you won't, because of politics, because of, you know, the powers that be, sometimes you won't get the film that you actually want, which is understandable, which is sad, but a lot of times it's understandable. And so with this film, I do give it credit that, okay, it went through some things, probably went through some rewrites, but I do know the writer's strike was a big hit to a lot of production and a lot of film here in America. But we do, at the same time, I gotta say that regardless of what's going on, I do urge filmmakers to do their best to continue a story, especially when it is a sequel to something else, or as the word is, threequel. Do your best to progress it. I just don't feel like this movie was what it should be. I love the action. Went to see it with my family. They loved it. But I just looked at this film as like, okay, could I or should I or would I go back and watch this movie? Probably not until it's on streaming. And even then, I don't think it'll be a first desire to watch. I wanted to be more involved with this film. I wanted to be more invested in this film, and I wasn't. I do understand, and I do see that what it lacked was the pull and the push that comes with properly continuing from something else. Creating characters and creating scenarios from scratch, at the same time saying it's from something else or continue from something else. It didn't match. It didn't match. And I do openly say that it didn't live up to what it should have been, and it could have been. But I feel like this film lacked in a lot of ways, and maybe I'll give a chance to talk more about that or more in depth. But I do give credit to the director, to the writer, to all the actors. I do give you guys credit. I do say thank you for what you've done. Thank you for everything you've done for this film and in this franchise. But I do hope that maybe there's a chance to properly put Tron back on track towards what it's meant to be, which is amazing franchise. And I hope that original cast can come back. I hope that there's a way to revamp everything back on track to where it needs to be. That's all I have for today, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you. Again, Tron Ares, if you haven't seen it, go see it. You can tell me in the comments what you thought, how you felt about it. It's up to you. Just let me know. But let me know what you think. This is just my opinion. You might like it. You might give it a way better score than I did. Like I said, originally 5 out of 10. With the score, 6.5 out of 10. You let me know what you think. And until then, deuces.